Hello everyone, welcome to Ontario's First-Time Home Buyer Guide. I will share with you an oversimplified first-time home buyer process. Please be advised that this is an informational video only and everyone will have different experiences based on the current market and their own circumstances. Now let's assume that you have been researching a lot and you're ready to buy your first house. You have been managing your budgets and you're aware of your finances. You have saved up for down payment. You're ready to take the next step. Where do I start? The first step is to calculate your maximum purchase price or your budget. To figure out your maximum purchase price, you can go to a bank, a credit union, or talk to a mortgage agent like me. But first, let's understand the difference between a pre-qualified versus a pre-approved amount, and this is important. When you're pre-qualified for a certain amount, that means that you have a very rough estimate of your maximum purchase price because it's only based on the information you have provided about your income and how much you owe. No income document has been supplied nor verified and no credit check has been done. Now, if you're interested in getting pre-qualified, then you can download my mortgage app. The link is provided below. When you're serious about buying your first property, then it is best to get a pre-approval. Pre-approval provides a more accurate maximum purchase price. For this, you must provide requested paperwork and a credit check will need to be done. The lender will softly underwrite the pre-approval and can hold the interest rate, but only with conditions. So now let's assume that you have chosen me to help you with your mortgage journey. I have my online booking link below. You can click on the link and choose the available dates and times for our first meeting. And we'll do a brief introductory Zoom call to understand what your goals are, your plans, your timeline, and I will then explain your customized mortgage process. After the call, I will send you the online application form that you can complete. You'll also be asked to send documents like picture of your government ID, job letter, recent pay stub, T4, and any other paperwork depending on your file. So if you're interested and you're ready to start, then you can find my online application link below. I will also send you an online consent form that you have to sign. This consent form allows us to pull your credit. All of these information are usually what potential lenders require to see how much mortgage they can give you. Now, the pre-approval process can take time, so I would suggest that it might be best to do it much earlier in the process. Getting a job letter from your employer may or may not take a couple of days or even a week. And if you don't have the right tax documents, then you'll have to request it from the CRA, and this may take time too. So these are just a few examples, so it's best to start it early. Now let's assume that your application is all completed, credit has been pulled, and all the requested documents have been received. Then I will review the information and I will underwrite the file. We will then book a much longer online meeting to discuss the options for you. Once the best option is selected, then we will submit it to the lender for review and approval. And when all has been approved, then we can prepare the pre-approval letter for you. The pre-approval letter can be valid up to 120 days depending on the lender. Now, the pre-approval letter is not a guarantee that the lender will lend, because the lender also needs to approve the property that you choose to buy. There are also other conditions. For example, the details provided during the pre-approval should remain the same. That means you cannot change jobs. You cannot purchase expensive furniture or cars that maximize your credit, jeopardize your credit score, or co-sign on someone else's loan until the mortgage has been funded, or even change bank accounts, as the lender may ask for bank statements before closing. Now, once you have your pre-approval letter, then you're ready for the next step. The second step is to choose a real estate agent. Now let's assume that you have asked me for help with your real estate. First, I will give you the mandatory RECO information guide. RECO stands for Real Estate Council of Ontario. I'll explain the guide to you and you can sign the last page of the document acknowledging that I have explained it to you. If you're interested, you can download the RECO information guide. The link is below. Now let's assume that you have chosen me as your real estate agent. Before we start seeing the homes in person, We will discuss and narrow down exactly what you're looking for in terms of size, location, number of bedrooms, and so on. This will help us narrow your focus on the available properties that might be good fit for you. And when you're ready to view the properties, then I'll send you a buyer representation agreement, also known as BRA. This is an exclusive contract between the buyer and the real estate brokerage for a specific length of time, location, commission, and a list of services as agreed between the parties. If you're interested in learning more about this agreement, then I have posted the link below for the buyer representation agreement with explanations. After signing this agreement, then I will arrange your viewings so that you do not have to contact the seller's agent. And I would recommend usually viewing no more than 3 to 4 properties at a time. Otherwise, it can start to get very confusing because over time you might forget what each property's features were. And when you find the house that you love, then I'll prepare and present a detailed CMA, which stands for Comprehensive Market Analysis, that helps us estimate the value of the property based on similar properties being sold in the area. And once you're ready, then I will explain the offer process to you and what to expect. We will go over the offer contract, which is known as the Agreement of Purchase and Sale. I'll go over the terms, the conditions, and the clauses so that you know what you're agreeing to. And once you're ready, then I'll submit your offer, and that's when the negotiations will start. The seller may then accept your offer, reject your offer, or countersign by changing the requested terms, conditions, price, and present the offer back to you. Now let's assume that your offer has been accepted. Then the next step is to deliver your deposit, and the deposit is due within 24 hours of your offer acceptance, unless otherwise stated in the agreement. Because of this, it is recommended having these funds in a liquid account, like a checking account, so that you have easy access to them. The date between the offer acceptance to the completion date, or also known as the day the property title is transferred to you, can take anywhere from 60 days, less than 60 days, or to even more than 90 days, depending on both the buyers and sellers' agreement. So there's a lot more to do within that time frame. The outlined conditions below are just some examples in the purchase sale agreement, and these conditions will need to be satisfied. I would recommend a home inspection condition for most residential properties. A home inspection is a visual inspection by a qualified home inspector on the home's condition and structure, like the foundation, the electrical, the plumbing, and many more. But remember, it's only a visual inspection, so it addresses only visible issues. The whole inspection can take up to 3 hours, depending on the house. And the home inspector will then send you a detailed report that summarizes the condition of the house. If you're buying a condominium, then the status certificate is recommended. Status certificate is a report that contains valuable information about the condo's unit of interest and of the condo corporation, like the financial statements of the condo, the legal circumstances. Is there any ongoing lawsuit related to the condo? Is the owner of the unit up to date on payments? You'll have to review this document with your real estate lawyer. Now that you have selected your house, it's time to work on the mortgage. The pre-approval letter was based on you as a borrower, but now the property also needs to be approved by the lender. During this time, or any time before closing, the lender might send an appraiser to calculate the value of the house to make sure that the property is still worth the loan amount. So if I was your mortgage agent and all the paperwork has firmed up, now we're working to get the conditional commitment letter from the lender. This commitment letter is a written guarantee that the lender will give you the mortgage based on their conditions. So it is still conditional up until closing. So if the property is approved, the down payment documentation has been accepted, and the borrower's credit are still very good, and you have funds to cover the closing costs, and you have secured a property insurance for the day of the closing, then the lender is prepared to send you the funds, and their conditions may only expire on the day of closing. Because of this, the lender may still request for additional documents even a couple days or weeks before the closing. For example, they may request for a more recent pay stub, or pull your credit again, or ask for bank statements for more verification. But once the lender approves, then I'll prepare a signing package for you. We'll book a signing appointment where I will go over all the documents. Real estate lawyer. Ideally, you would have already selected a lawyer once you have an accepted agreement of purchase and sale. So about 1, maybe 2 weeks before the completion date, you will meet your real estate lawyer. The lawyer will request for government IDs, full names, and marital status of everyone that will be on the title of the property. He will also confirm if the buyers are indeed first-time home buyers. The lawyer will do a title search to make sure that there are no taxes owing, no liens on the property. The lawyer may also request for blank checks for mortgage withdrawal for the lenders, and a certified check or a bank draft payable to the lawyer's company and trust for the difference in the amount needed to complete the transaction. Here is an example of what the closing costs can include. It's not a full list, but just some examples, like the lawyer fees, the Ontario land transfer tax, and if you buy within the city of Toronto, then there's a Toronto land transfer tax, appraisal fees, and so on. Ideally, it's a good idea to budget between 3% to 5% of the purchase price for a resale home so that it covers the closing costs. Now, before the completion date or the closing day, it is recommended to do a final walkthrough to verify that the house you're buying is still in the same condition as you last saw it. I will also send you a moving checklist that reminds you to cancel, transfer, or arrange for a new home insurance, utilities, and moving services. And on the closing day, you will receive instructions from your lawyer on when to pick up the keys. Once in your new home, you should check if all the appliances are in good working order. You have until midnight on the closing day to report of any issues. So here is a summary of the entire process that we talked about. I just covered the basics on how I can help you as your mortgage agent or your real estate agent. Here is a list of some of the first-time home buyer programs in Ontario. As a first-time home buyer, you do get an Ontario land transfer tax rebate and Toronto land transfer tax rebate. I've also listed some links below if you'd like more information in each of these programs. Now, for my next video, I'll be talking all about mortgages. What is a mortgage? How does it work? What type of mortgages are there? So please make sure to subscribe to get notified. Thank you so much for watching. And if you know a first-time home buyer and if you think that this video might help them, then please don't forget to share. Thank you so much.